What's good, YouTube? It's CuddleofDeath here. Yay, hey, happy day, woo! And today I'm going to be reviewing my draft for the United Championship League Little Cup off-season. Before I do this, I'm going to let you all know how this season works. So if any of you want to skip ahead because you already know the ins and outs of how the season works, then by all means feel free to skip ahead. But this is for the viewers that might be a little bit confused about the rules and stuff of this particular season, so on and so forth. So first of all, we have different tiers of the Little Cup Pokemon spanning from Tier A to Tier D. Secondly, not all Little Cup Pokemon were able to be included during the draft. We had a very specific pool of Pokemon to pick up for our drafts. The next thing that I'd like to go over is that each coach was able to choose their own team captain. However, the team captain selection was only allowed to be chosen from tiers B and below. Now that all of that is out of the way, the only Pokemon that the coach is able to pick up is their own team captain. The rest of the team is randomly chosen from the specific tiers. In this season's draft, each coach has one team captain, 2 randomized picks from A tier, 4 randomized picks from B tier, 3 randomized picks from C tier, and 1 randomized pick from D tier. Lastly, we have a total of 16 teams divided up into 4 divisions: Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, and Sinnoh. This means that there are 4 teams in each division. Each team must face each other in their division twice. Whoever ends up with the most wins out of that division will move on to the next phase of the battles to face off against the champions of their respective divisions. Eventually, this will lead up to a championship battle, which will determine the overall winner of the tournament. Now that I've let you all know how the season is working, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the actual review of the United Championship League Little Cup Off-season Tulsa Talonflames draft. As I've already mentioned, each coach is able to select a team captain. I decided to pick my favorite first-generation Pokemon, Slowpoke, to fill the role of being my team captain. My reasoning is that it was my first ever favorite Pokemon since I started playing back in 1998, and it's just so freaking adorable. Not to mention it has access to the Regenerator ability, which recovers HP when Slowpoke gets swapped out, and it also has very decent bulk. I have also used Slowpoke in the past on Little Cup teams and have fared very well with it, and it is one of my favorite Pokemon in the LC tier. My first A tier randomized pick ended up being Ponyta. I screamed in excitement when this ended up being my pick because I absolutely freaking love Ponyta, and it's literally the Pokemon I have used the most in past LC battles. It's very fast, can deal a lot of damage, and can be built to be a bit bulky, and is pretty versatile. My second A tier randomized pick was Timburr. I actually have never used Timburr before, but I've heard a lot of great things about it. When I looked more into what Timburr could do, I was pretty happy. Being a mini Conkeldurr, it gets access to several abilities like Guts and Iron Fist, as well as Sheer Force. It can be built to be bulky, and using Guts can make Timburr a great swap into an incoming Burn, Poison, or Paralysis. It also gets access to Mach Punch, which is Stab, can be Iron Fist boosted, and this can become more and more menacing if it manages to get any bulk up boosts. It has access to Drain Punch for recovery and can put dents in teams if used efficiently, which we will see if I can efficiently use it during this particular off-season. Moving on to the B tier randomized picks, my first one ended up being Koffing, which has access to annoying status moves, Pain Split, and so many great moves that make it a lovely Pokemon in Little Cup. It is a great physical wall, especially since our picks are randomized, so it can actually go against teams that ended up with a lot of physical attackers, and I think that that's going to be great, considering, like, you don't know, I just have to take a look at a team every week whenever I go to face them. Are they physically heavy? If so, Koffing is a great Pokemon to bring. Our next randomized B tier pick was Lileep. If you want to talk about a Pokemon with both great physical and special defense, Lileep is one of those Pokemon. It also has pretty okay HP, decent special attack, and access to Stealth Rocks, which make great if my opponent has like Sturdy Mons, or just, you know, any extra damage is fantastic. Stealth Rocks would be great. And I also really like Lileep since it does get access to Recover. I'm not sure how it's going to fare since I'm not really used to using Lileep, but we will see how it does fare as the season continues on. Coming up as our next randomized B tier pick, we have Bagon. And I honestly didn't know how to feel at first since I have no experience using it, but I was happy since the MVP of UCL Season 1 for our team, the Tulsa Talonflames, was actually Salamence. But upon further investigation, it can be played a few different ways, and seems to play very similarly to Salamence as you'd expect. It gets access to Dragon Dance, which it can use to sweep teams just like Salamence is able to do so. And it has pretty great coverage in regards to moves, which makes it a pretty great addition to the team. It also gets access to Wish, which can be fun to use on a more defensive Bagon. Our final randomized B tier pick is Riolu. Riolu is an interesting Pokemon as it is one of the Pokemon that has access to Prankster, and it's pretty cool because of that and can actually sweep, but it has to be able to get a good setup. Otherwise it's kind of, it's iffy. It's very iffy. Now that B tier picks are over, we're going to be moving on to our randomized C tier picks. My first C tier pick ended up being Tyrogue, and I was honestly getting a little worried since this is now my third fighting type. But it can't be helped since it's all randomized. I actually don't have much to say about Tyrogue either, other than the fact that it's probably going to be our team's resident bench warmer. And I have a few sneaky plans for it if I do end up bringing it. And I'm not going to reveal those since my opponents can watch this video. But for now, I literally have nothing else to say outside of Tyrogue is the Tulsa Talonflames LC resident bench warmer. You know, give me some fan art of Tyrogue sitting on that bench keeping it warm. I wasn't really excited about it at all. Not even gonna lie there. Our next C tier pick ended up being Krabby, and Krabby can actually put in some work as it has access to Sheer Force and has a massive base attack stat of 105. Not only that, but Krabby has fantastic defense, which is base 90, and it's another Pokemon that's able to sweep if it gets a great setup against a team, especially if that team lacks grass types. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with Krabby. I'd love to see it put in some work during the season. I mean, it definitely can. It definitely can with, you know, like good defense, great offense, and I don't know, just it gets a good ability. Pretty happy with that, I'm not gonna lie. Our final C tier pick is Solosis, and Solosis has a phenomenal special attack stat, coming in at a whopping 105, which ties with Abra for the highest special attack stat in the tier. It's got 3 great abilities as well, being Magic Guard, Overcoat, and Regenerator. But sadly, Solosis is super slow and generally relies on Trick Room, but I'd like to see if I can make work of it on the team if I do bring it in a battle at some point. It kind of has like little gross defenses too, but we'll see. It can definitely put in some work if the opportunity is presented for it to do so. We will see what it does. Hopefully we can manage to put in some work with it if I end up using it. I don't want to have to make it a resident bench warmer as well. Right now Tyrogue is just sitting on that bench warming it up. His little butt is keeping that bench super warm, guys. He makes a great bench warmer. Our last and final pick, which is also our only D tier pick, ended up being Cubchoo, aka Adorable Little Booger Bear. I'm a bit undecided on this cute little booger bear though, as it does get some alright moves, but in my opinion it appears to be quite mediocre. The abilities aren't all that great, and literally the only thing I can see going on for it is its access to a few decent moves. I might have missed something, I don't know, but I have a feeling that this adorable little booger bear might actually, I mean, it's a little bit less apt to do this, or it's a little bit more apt to do this than Solosis, but I feel like that Cubchoo might be a bench warmer, which is kind of funny since it's a nice type. So, I mean, I guess it can freeze the bench and Tyrogue warms it up, but who knows? I might end up using Cubchoo. What do you got for a well-played Cubchoo? Hashtag Bronx Bear Ticks, Bronx Cubchoo. Like little, what's that called? It's just a joke, guys. But you know what? Looking at all of our picks, I'm pretty happy about them considering that it's randomized. We got a few decent picks which can take on a lot of the teams if we manage to make it out of our division. And of course we're going to try our best, but keep in mind, our main goal is to always have fun whether we win or lose. I know a lot of people wanted to know my thoughts on my particular draft, so here you go. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like. If you didn't enjoy, dislike, I don't really care. Whatever you thought about it, you know, feel free to let me know down in the comment section below. I want to know what you thought about our draft. And with that, you guys, I love you all so much. I'll see you guys in the next video. And good luck to the Tulsa Talonflames, aka me, Kristen, the #1 in charge here, the coach of the Tulsa Talonflames. Good luck to us on the off season. I love